Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to episode I don't know of Volleyball Talks with Jacoby. Hi. A lot has happened, I feel like, since last time I've filmed one of these podcast style videos. But this is not really about my personal life, so who cares? Anywho, let's talk about volleyball. Let's talk about how Wisconsin and Nebraska, that game was so good. So good. Nebraska went to Wisconsin and swept, right? They swept them, right? That was insane. Let's talk about the rankings as of now. I'm not sure when I'm going to put this video out, maybe a week or two from now. But let's see. I'm interested about the rankings. Okay. Pittsburgh is still number 1, as they should be. That's just my opinion. Nebraska's 2, Louisville 3, 4, Penn State. I feel like things have really not changed over the past few weeks, months, really. 1 through 5 are kind of whoa, Creighton's number 5. Never mind. Holy crap. I did not notice that. That is crazy. But I feel like it's the same old people in the rankings. But I'm really thinking that Nebraska is going to win it all this year because Texas, I think they will start peaking at the right time. But that time is not right now, unfortunately. But I think they will come. They will have a come up, and so will Wisconsin. So I'm excited to see. I think either Nebraska or Penn State's going to win it all. Someone could surprise me, like Louisville or SMU. That could happen. But anyways, I digress. But let's chat, guys. I'm going to read through some of my comments. If you want a question answered or anything like that, leave a comment on one of my videos, and I will respond to it. Obviously, I'll try to respond to the actual comment, but then I will expand on it further in these types of videos. So yeah. Also, I want to talk about how we are almost at 9,000 subscribers. That's crazy. I don't even know. I don't even know what to think about that. I have no thoughts about it because I'm that's insane. It doesn't make sense to me. It's how did we get here? How did this happen to me? What? Anyways, let's go through some comments. Let's see. Someone asked, how do setters set so far across the court? I can barely set from the 10-foot line. First of all, real. That's very relatable. Honestly, the way that setters set so far is because they're really strong and they're trained. That's really what it comes down to, is just time, repetition, practice. Because setters practice that almost every day. And I mean every day. I've seen my setters, from my past teams, practice all the time. And they practice pushing the ball from literally, inline to center line, sideline to sideline setting, right? And that's really cool. And sometimes you'll find a setter who can stay in tempo, set a fast-paced ball from all the way across the court. It's so cool to see. If you want to see that, watch a lot of college women's volleyball or men's college volleyball. Indoor, they do a lot of setting that's really extraordinary. They do it from far distances, and the ball is still perfect every single time. So I would highly suggest that. But yeah, basically it's just repetition and strength, and also they use their legs when they're setting. That's a really key component that some people are missing sometimes. It's you have to use your legs if you want to set far, period. Someone asked how they can get their timing down as an outside hitter. That's a great question, because timing is everything when it comes to hitting in volleyball, for sure, because you have to get your feet to the ball first in order to have a successful swing. That's just my opinion. So first and foremost, I would say that you want to kind of have a indicator in your head, okay, now I go. So for me, when I see that the setter's hands are touching the ball, that's how I know when to start my first step. Now, everyone's different, people have different key indicators that they can look for, but that's how I timed every set I had, and that's pretty much how my timing was pretty much perfect every single time, is because I knew how my setter was going to set the ball. But that also comes with repetition and knowing who your setter is and how they set. For example, I was friends with all of my setters, so that means that I knew how they were going to set me in most scenarios, if that makes sense. So if I was a little off the net, I kind of knew that they would set me maybe a little off the net, right? Or if I just came in to play defense and now I'm in the middle of the court, I know that they're going to set me an inside ball. You know what I mean? It's really about the chemistry you have with your setter, but really it's about how you kind of time the set, and that's how I would do it. It's just looking at the setter, watching their hands, and then go. And then you do your approach really fast and swing. Someone asked me how to overhand serve for beginners. I feel like this is my most asked question on my channel, rightfully so, because serving is very important, and it is like one of the first basic skills that someone is looking to master when they start playing volleyball. So my first tip to anyone who wants to get their overhand serve is to practice your hand contact. That is so important. Honestly, like low-key, I feel like people kind of overlook that because they're trying to think like, oh, like, how can I get it over the net? Like, how can I almost like force it over the net? Like, am I not strong enough? Like, what is it? It's your hand contact. That's really what matters. Strength, sure, but like it really is your hand contact, because if you give it a nice high five, you have more power going through your hand that way. It's more firm, and you're more likely to actually get it over the net and not in the middle of the net or under, whatever it is. So yeah, that's my first key, is hand contact. Second, which I feel like is underrated, people don't really focus on having a good toss, but that is so important when it comes to serving, because you don't have a chance to get it over if you have a bad toss. Like, period. You see some people have a bad toss, and you can't catch it if you're like above a certain age. So then you're like, oh no, and people panic because their toss was terrible, right? So they have to compensate some way and try to roll it over the net or whatever it is. But yeah, having a perfect toss is very important, and that's like honestly one of the easiest things that you can practice at home is your toss. So literally all you need is a ball. I have one right here, and if you want one, it's always linked in my description. But literally all you have to do is just practice your toss and catch. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a hard thing to practice. So that's what I would say to anyone who's trying to get their overhand serve. Also, I have a bunch of videos dedicated to that, so look through my channel and you shall find it. Someone asked me how to be more confident when they're kind of watching the other team and they look really, really good. Like, how do you not get discouraged by that? First of all, great question. First of all, I would say that not everything is as it seems. So some teams can have a really like amazing warm up. You're like, oh my god, like these girls are like D1, like they're so good. What are we gonna do? Da-da-da. And then they play absolutely terrible together. Like it happens all the time. Like they have an amazing warm up, but then you're like, you actually watch them play, and they're like, oh, these girls are not very good together. Now, they might be good individually, but they don't work well as a team. It doesn't matter if you're really, really good as an individual. Well, okay, sometimes it does, because, like, you can kind of carry a team. But you know what I mean? You still need at least 3, 4 out of the 6 girls to be pretty good to win, right? So it's really not as it seems. So take everything you see with a grain of salt, and honestly just focus on your side of the net, and that is how you will see success. Someone asked me how they can get picked for like their high school / middle school volleyball team, and my suggestion for like tryout tips is just to be like calm and try to have as much fun as possible. When I was trying out, like I wasn't really like there to like, oh my god, I have to make the volleyball team. I was really just there to like hang out with my friends. Honestly, like I was there to have fun, like because I thought volleyball was fun, and hang out with my friends while playing volleyball was like the ultimate fun, right? So just focus on what you have going on and not others. Especially like don't compare yourself to other people. I hate when people do that, because it's just sad, because everyone is different, everyone is unique, and everyone has something going for them. You need to focus on kind of like gardening like your own. What's the saying? You know what I'm trying to say. Like, you need to focus on watering your own grass before, like, worrying about other people's, right? That's the saying. I don't know. Also, another way to kind of get noticed at tryouts is just to be coachable. That's really noticeable to coaches, because when I was a coach, I would notice if a person was truly, like, taking in the information I was giving them, or if they're just like, yeah, like, whatever, which is fine. Like, that's their choice to not learn. But you can really tell, and it's really noticeable when you're actually trying to absorb what people are saying, what your coaches are saying, and actually trying to apply it, because that is how you get better. Someone asked, how do volleyball rotations work? That is a loaded question, because volleyball rotations are a little complicated, honestly, and it's so hard to explain without being physically in person and like showing people how the rotations work. Because when I was coaching like 12s, all these girls are probably like 9 years old, and I was their head coach, and I had to explain to them how rotations work, but I could literally move them around, physically, and be like, okay, you go here, and it's easier to show them that way. So I guess a brief way of how rotations work is that there's a zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So basically, there's going to be 6 players starting, and everyone starts in a zone, okay? So say that you're starting in zone 1, which is going to be right back, okay? So you're on the right side of the court in the back row. So when you rotate, say that you're say that you have the serve, right? Because, you know, before every volleyball match, there's a coin toss to see who serves and who's receiving. Say you are serving, right? You are going to be the first server, okay, and right back. So say you serve the ball and you lose the point, right? Okay, you get the ball back and then you rotate, right? Okay, so the person in zone 1 goes to zone 6. So everyone rotates to 1 to their left. That's a great way to remember, is you always go 1 over to your left. Another great way to remember where you are in rotation is to look at who your opposite is. So once again, when you are starting, say you are starting in right back, like I said, you want to look to whoever is in left front starting, right? At the moment, that's who your opposite is, and that's who you'll always be opposite of, and that's how you'll know if you're in rotation or not. So for example, that person starting in left front, they're not the outside hitter, they're the right side hitter. But that's just where they are in rotation order. See, it's very confusing, but that is just how it is, because usually when you're starting right back, you're a setter. So who's going to be opposite of the setter? Who's front row? The right front, or the opposite hitter, right? So whoever's starting opposite of you is the hitter. So that means that they're going to be starting in left front in the rotation order, but as soon as that serve goes across the net, they're going to their base, which is right front. I hope that made sense. If it didn't, let me know. Someone asked me how I get my arms so close together when I'm passing the ball. And let me be the first to say that your arms do not have to touch when you are forming your platform. My arms are double jointed, so they just are awkward in touch, right? See, look, that's not normal. That is not how my arms are. That's not how arms are supposed to be, okay? Mine are just double jointed and they touch. So if they don't touch, don't worry about it. Just really worry about if your arms are straight and not bent. That's really what you're looking for when it comes to forming a perfect platform. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the 4-on-4 tournament I just played with my friends in Atlanta at Tsunami Volleyball. You guys, that was so much fun. Like, I went with my friend Tatum. She invited me. Shout out Tatum. And we played with these two girls that I've never met. But it was a lot of fun. We played 4v4. It was like a regular court, regular net. And it was indoor. And I felt like out of retirement. Like, it was so much fun. It was so cool. I made a little short about it. I probably already posted it by now, but it was so much fun. Would I suggest playing 4v4? Honestly, no, because it is so hard. Like, because it's still like full court, you know? I mean, you can't tip or whatever, but it's still really hard to play volleyball 4v4 on a regular size court. Okay, let me tell you. So it was so much fun. My husband got to come and watch me play for the first time. It was just so much fun, and I would highly suggest getting out there and playing any kind of volleyball you can, even if it's not the traditional 6v6. I know I just said don't play 4v4, but that's not what I meant. I meant to say yes, play 4v4, but like, would I do it again? No, probably not, because it was tiring, and I'm old. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this little podcasty. It's not even a podcast. Like, this video is not even that long. It's not even half an hour, but it's my little podcast, okay? So I'm gonna call it what I want. But anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for subscribing and being loyal to me. I'm just kidding. But I really hope that my videos kind of, you know, entertain you, one, but also just, I hope that it's giving you some kind of like a value, and I hope that you're learning something from everything I'm trying to teach people, because I just think it's so important to have all sources of volleyball accessible to everybody, because it's just so important. And like, I think that learning volleyball before you even start playing is a great way to be a great player, or even if you are already a player, you just want to get better, and I really respect you for that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye. My fingers just cracked. Bye.